Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PatFacts. We're going to get right to it tonight. Pat here, Pat on your back, personal fitness. How are you doing? No, really, how are you doing? In Ontario, and I know in Quebec and Nova Scotia, places all over the country, we're kind of taking a few steps back with recent announcements. Curfews are back, restrictions are back, online learning is back for our students. How are you? How are you feeling? How are you handling it? I've heard from some of you, both kind of officially and just in some of the chats we're in different places, that it's tough. It's frustrating. And I totally get it. I'm there with you. It's frustrating. I find it tough. It's discouraging. Some of it still doesn't make sense, some of the decisions being made. But we're here tonight to give you 3 ways to work through this, to get through this bump in the road. We talked a couple weeks ago about planning for obstacles, having a contingency plan. Did your contingency plan include more lockdowns or restrictions? Because we've been through them before. That's the good news, because we've been through them before. You know how to handle them. You know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So you can know how to modify and change if you need to, or at least know where to start from and then maybe adjust it this round compared to last time, because there could be different changes, working from home, different seasons, things like that going on. So we do have the experience to draw from, even if we didn't have this in our contingency plan, because we maybe thought we're kind of coming out of the woods, as it seemed to be a few weeks ago, even a few months ago, that we were going to maybe finally at least live with this thing. It seems like we're never going to shed it completely, but at least manage it and live with it. But again, tonight, 3 ways to help us get through sort of the recent updates and changes, and really any kind of obstacle that may come up in our way that's probably unexpected or a little bit of our control. A lot of components of what's going on right now are out of our control. We can't make the decisions that our officials are making for us. We can't. We can try to influence as much as we can, but ultimately there's a lot out of our control. And what we always say here is we want to control the controllables and be able to do that as much as we can. So we're going to look at 3 ways to try to control those controllables tonight. And again, with specifically, we're talking about, again, sort of the restrictions that have come down from the pandemic and the variants and everything going on. But this will, again, help us for other roadblocks, other obstacles that come up, especially if they're unpredicted or, again, out of our control. Hey, Bonnie, good evening. Good to see you there. Happy New Year to you as well. And same to you. All the best for 2022. It's going to be a great year. I can feel it. We're going to make it a great year. Just like we made the most of 21, we're going to make the most of 22. Great to see you. So the first one I want to talk about, they're all kind of a CH, is check. We want to check in with ourselves. How are we doing? How are we feeling with this current situation? And again, if you're watching this or listening to this down the road, again, think of if you have some hardship coming up, or just a general problem come up that maybe isn't pandemic related, but an obstacle, a roadblock, something unexpected happened to you, a life event, a work event that you didn't see coming. Let's check in. How are we doing? Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? I know some people that I spoke with the past week or so felt upset, very upset, and they couldn't even do some of their fun things because they were so upset. They just couldn't get into that mindset of just having some fun and getting away from things. They're very frustrated and just really ticked off. Some people were scared. Again, here we go again. What's going to happen? What's this variant? How am I going to deal with this? How am I ever going to get back out around people? Some people were worried because they have businesses that are shut down again. And all those are okay. You have to feel how you have to feel. It's going to affect everybody differently. I've seen a lot of expressions say we're all in the same storm but different boats, because we all kind of handle it differently. And this is no different. Someone who maybe doesn't have a business that's relying on this to stay open is going to feel differently than someone that's trying to run a business through this time. And what I want you to do with your check-in is allow yourself that time to grieve, to feel the way you feel. Frustrated, sad, whatever the case might be, confused. And again, still after 2 years, there's still so much uncertainty going on. And give yourself that time to feel that, to experience that. But what I want you to do, and what I want you to check in with yourself, is you should know mostly what you need to get through something. You've probably been through different situations before that are similar to this one, so you have a rough idea of what maybe a grieving process is. That's kind of what it is. We're grieving. We've heard bad news. We're trying to process it and then find ways to deal with it and move on and move forward with our lives. So take the time to grieve, check in, but try to, again, be purposeful with your grieving. A couple of days, if you need it, is fine. But when those few days turn into a week, turn into 2 weeks, turn into a month, then we get a little worried, because that can really restrict our progress and keep us from reaching our goals. And in this, specific to this pandemic time, extra stress we have on us can have an effect on our immune system. We want that immune system to be functioning at top notch as much as we can. Anything we can control, we want to have that immune system functioning high. So as you check in our first kind of 3 ways to cope through this sort of tumultuous time, this bad news, again, specific to the pandemic, but any kind of bad news or obstacle you may face, check in and really fine tune and dial into yourself. What do I usually need when something has happened in the past? What have I typically needed? A couple days, 3 days, half a day, day and a half, and give yourself that time. But then what I want you to do is, again, stick to that timeline as best you can. There's a bit of gray area there where if you're just having a really rough time, and again, this is the, 5th lockdown or 4th lockdown, and again, I know there's curfews and restrictions all over the place. We're all at different places, but it's happened multiple times. So it does weigh on us and get very frustrating, especially since we seem to be so close to overcoming this. Or again, maybe not overcoming it, but at least managing it better. So check in, know yourself, think back to kind of how much time you need, feel now how much time you need, and set that goal. I'm going to give myself 3 days. I'm going to give myself a couple days. We're a few days in, so hopefully you're getting towards the end of maybe that grieving process. But again, if you need more time, if you feel like it's necessary, then again, take it, but just make sure there's an end goal, an end time in place. And then what I want you to think of doing is, as you're spending maybe some of this time grieving or coming out of grieving, is start to put a plan together for what you're going to do as your post to grievance. What I want you to do, our second word here, is to channel. I'm trying to take my frustrations and my anger at the decision makers and some of the policies and just the virus in general, the pandemic in general, but I'm trying to channel that energy into a positive. The positivity pandemic that I've been talking about since April of 2020. I'm going to channel my energy to that, to reach more people, to impact more people, to help more people have a better perspective of things, to help them have a better way of life, to be operationally fit to fight the daily battles that life hands you. That's my goal for you, for all my clients. I'm going to dial that up, while I'm also trying to juggle work and online schooling and things in my life, but I'm going to dial things up. So I have to dial up my routines, my self-care, so I can turn up the notch and further even enhance what I'm giving to you already, and to reach even more than the regular viewers who are here. And I love you guys for being here every week. But again, I want that reach to grow. So I've decided to channel that energy into positives, into making changes, into striving forward. And if you've been with me, you know that my goal for you and for me and for anyone that tunes in is that when the pandemic is an epidemic, I guess is the next stage, because it may not go away, but when we're out of this time, I want us to come out of it so much better than we went into it. And I know so many of you already are, but we want to keep that momentum going. I want your friends and family and people that you haven't seen much because of this pandemic even people you don't even know that see you down on the street to go, whoa, what have they been doing? Look at the difference in them. They're so confident. They walk so tall. They're so proud. They look great. Oh, they're speaking in other languages. They got that new job. What were they doing? I was stuck inside in a pandemic. I gained 20 pounds and I stuck where I was before. What were they doing? What's their secret? You channeled your energy, put it into a hobby, into a purpose, into a goal, and it kept you moving forward. It kept that momentum going. I want to take this closure and this restriction and figuratively shove it down the throats of those who have implemented it and say, this is what we can do. This is how we can thrive through a pandemic, not survive, but thrive. We can take our frustration and our uncertainties and all the negativity and the poor energy you want to throw at us with all these stats and things, and I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to throw it right back at you. But I'm going to throw such a positive spin on it, you're going to puke from all the positivity that's going to come your way. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm deciding to do with this current lockdown, the restrictions. I'm going to flip it around and throw positivity back in everybody's face, and you're going to like it. So I'm channeling the energy. I'm trying to, rather than stew on it and feel it heavy, I'm going to revert it back. I'm going to put it into place. And you can do that with a lot of your emotions. If you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're uncertain, there's an anxiousness there. There's an energy there. Channel it into something. It could be anything. Maybe it's that hobby you picked up. Maybe it's the hobby you picked up, but you kind of get away from for a little bit because things open back up. Maybe you didn't have the time. Maybe it's that thing you wanted to do, but you never really got around to it during the pandemic. Thought, I wish I had more time. I wish I had really picked that up. Here's your chance. Maybe it's doing something around your house. Maybe it's just organizing things. Maybe it's getting rid of things you don't need anymore. Maybe it's just something that you just enjoy doing. Listening to music, reading books, it's talking to friends. Remember, it should have been physical distance, not social distance. Stay in touch with those people around you. Channel your energy to them and create support groups for each other. Maybe even not officially called a support group, but just talking with each other and working through some of these emotions that we're feeling, helping each other through it, supporting each other, giving guidance, being in an ear to listen to, a shoulder to cry on, someone to throw back a funny joke or a witty remark to break the tension, to help each other feel a little better. So I want you to check in with yourself. How are you doing? What do you need? And then I want you to channel that energy toward a goal or a purpose or a hobby, whatever it is that helps you feel better. Maybe it's a few things. Maybe it's one little thing. Maybe we're back to where we were a year or 2 years ago, where maybe it's getting up out of bed and making the bed. Maybe that's channeling your energy. Maybe that's good for today. I did it. Pat on your back for you. I got up, I made my bed, I put on some clothes, and I had a good approach to the day. Maybe you start there and then layer things on top as you feel ready. But I know so many of us are so, again, either scared or frustrated or both, or a whole bunch of emotions all bundled into one, or confused. We need to try to take that and channel it and put it to good use. That'll help bring us down out of some of those high level alert phases we're in. Because again, if we're up here too much at that kind of red zone, again, that's put stress on our immune system. We don't want that. We want our bodies to function how they're designed. The design is in that zone and then out of it when we don't need to be in it. So let's channel our energy into different outlets to help bring us down to that yellow zone, at least, hopefully toward the green zone, where we're just at that good level of a little bit of stress, but not too much. We can perform well. Our body can regenerate and heal itself as we need it to. And our brain can take a break and, again, same thing, recharge itself, regenerate, process the information we've been taking in. And the third thing I want you to implement is, and again, this doesn't have to be right away, these will be in steps, And how far apart the steps are again, are dependent on you. But just don't miss any steps, and don't not take any steps. At least take one step. Even just check in. Start that process. See how you're feeling. But the third step I want you to try and I want you to implement is charge. I want you to charge into whatever you're doing. I want you to charge into this pandemic. I want you to charge into your life. I don't want you to saunter around. You can strut a little bit if you want. That's fine. We can all use a little strut now and then. But I want you to charge forward. I want you to kick in the door. We're going to want you to keep building that momentum into 2022 that we started back in October, November. Don't lose that now. This is why we put contingency plans in place. This is why we talked about that a few weeks ago. Keep moving forward. Keep that momentum going. This is a roadblock. This is a tweak and adjustment to your plan. But how can we keep moving forward? How can we keep progressing? Or at least, how can we maintain what we have so far? So that when things open back up, or again, if it's not pandemic based, when the trouble or the bad news and the situation seems to clear up a little bit and things get a little lighter, then I can get back into that good momentum. But I think too often we get really stuck in, we get so knocked off our feet, and rightfully so, but we don't put steps in place to get back up and dust ourselves off. And we need to do that. And then again, we need to hit the ground running and move forward. If you've been with us for a lot, even just a few weeks now, we should have a plan in place. We should have goals set for 2022. And if you don't, if you're new and haven't done that, then go ahead. Maybe that's your start. Check in with yourself. How am I doing? And then channel some of your nervousness, anxiousness, sadness, frustration into picking a big goal for 2022. And that gives us purpose, that gives us drive, and it takes our mind off some of the negativity going on because we're focused on our task at hand, those goals. So again, we can tick off multiple boxes by setting a big goal to work on or an accomplishment that we want to achieve in this year. We have to take onus of our health because you can see no one else really gives it the priority it should be. Preventative medicine it's been ignored so often in these past 2 years. It's very sickening. We have to decide to take our own health into our own hands, to put ourselves in the best position possible to have the best quality of life we can. We can't wait for it to happen or hope this is the year or hope someone's going to make that decision that we can do what we want to do. We have to take control. We have to do whatever we can, control our own controllables to have the best quality of life that we can. And ideally, that sets us up for minimizing the risk of maybe getting sick, or if you do happen to get sick, it's less severe. The symptoms are less severe with any sort of sickness. And again, if you've been with us back in 2020, even though we didn't know much, knowing it was an immune compromising virus or pandemic, I tried to say that. Keep yourself healthy, keep that immune system strong, take care of yourself to try to minimize the risk and or the severity. And now actual studies have started to come out that show that people who are inactive are having more severe consequences from COVID and are more likely to contract it. But looking at it and knowing how it affected us and what systems it looked at, again, we didn't really need a study to tell us that. We shouldn't have needed studies to tell us that. But our officials still ignore that. So again, you need to take control of your health, your well-being, and or find the resources if it's beyond something that you can control on your own. Because it's been a rough 2 years. So if you need to charge to someone for some help, then do so. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel ashamed or shy. Get a coach, get a counselor, get a friend, a loved one, a colleague, someone you trust. Find that outlet where you can channel that energy and charge into your life to live that good quality of life that we all deserve to and should be entitled to. But again, I feel like too many people wait for everyone else to do it for them. We need to take control ourselves. We need to check in with ourselves. How are we doing? We need to channel our energy toward positivity, toward goodness, toward kindness, toward our hobbies and our goals and our ambitions. And then we need to charge forward toward our goal, toward a good quality of life. We charge forward with our channeled energy. And again, that's the positivity pandemic. It's my kindness coming to you, your kindness going to your friends and neighbors and strangers you interact with. And they feel that goodness from that kindness. They feel that warmth and they spread it around and then they spread it and they spread it and it overtakes us. That's what we want. But we need people to be carriers of our positivity pandemic. And you charging forward with your channeled energy after you've checked in with yourself to know how you're doing and making yourself that top priority are going to be the ways we do that. That, to me, is how we're going to work through this. Because we keep going through these roller coasters of we're almost there, nope. We're almost there, nope. And it seems we take 2 steps forward, 6 steps back. So I'm challenging you. That's my bonus, fourth one, my fourth CH word, my cha-cha-cha-cha. I'm going to challenge you to charge out of this hole, out of this valley, and back up the hill toward the top, to where there's that light, to where there's that end. And again, we're talking pandemic based here, but even if you have struggles and hardships and things going on, I still challenge you to charge out of this with your channeled energy, with your thoughts and emotions as in check as they can be. And let's keep our momentum going forward, and let's make 2022 an amazing year, the best year we can actually make it within the things we can control. Let's make it a magnificent year. And let's put it in the face of those who doubt that 2022 is going to be a good year, who are trying to worry about everything and take every little thing into consideration. And I know it's a hard job for some of them to do, and there's still unknowns. But there's so much negativity and darkness, and there's so much light and hope and positivity that could be coming out as well to at least balance things out, and it's not. That's where I come in. That's where you come in. We're going to balance this out, and we're going to actually create a little bit of a deposit. We're going to have a little bit of extra in the account of positivity. We're going to shift the scales. So take the energy you have, take those thoughts and feelings again. When you're ready, process them, check in, channel that energy. If you don't have any goals outlined for this year, again, take some time, do that when you check in, write things down, work things out. Maybe that's where you channel your energy for now. That's okay. Whatever works for you. And then again, when you feel like you're ready for that next step, let's charge. Let's get going. Let's move forward. I remember when 2021 was coming, someone posted a funny meme. It was a joke, but it was like, hey, just tiptoe in the 2021. Let's see what we're dealing with here after the way 2020 was. And I turned on my caps lock and I said, no way, I'm kicking in the door. I'm here, 2021. What do you got? We need to do that now too. We can't cower and hide, because then the disease is won in my books. We need to work through it. We need to charge into it and being safe, doing what we need to do, but taking care of ourselves. Make yourself the priority, and then you'll better help those around you. You'll have more success. You'll have more energy, more empathy, more kindness, more patience to spread around your world, your environments, your communities. We need to do this now. We need this check-in. Hey, Gretchen, we need this check-in. We need to, Gretchen's here. She'll know what Todd would say. We need to snap our bands. We need to flick the switch. whatever it is to make that energy outgoing and spread the positivity and lift ourselves up, generate our own energy. Brendan Burchard, who we've mentioned here as well, this doesn't says the power plant doesn't have energy, it creates energy, it generates power. I want us to generate that positivity, that inspiration, that motivation for ourselves. And then again, that positivity pandemic helps spread it out to those around us. But we need to be in the driver's seat of our life and what it is that we're doing and what we need to focus on moving forward. So I'd love to hear from you in the chats and the comments. Again, if you're with us live, if you're with us in recording, I go back and check on all the comments. I'd love to hear from you. How did your check-in go? Did you find that process from other events that helps you maybe grieve or get through tough times? And again, once again, we're focusing on the pandemic because of the restrictions and limitations that have come back again. But again, this could apply to any hardship or any obstacle. We talked about contingency plans a couple of weeks ago, that there would be roadblocks come up. This is a roadblock. You're going to have these come up. So you may have to go through these processes. Check in. How are you feeling? What's your grieving process? What did you discover about yourself? Maybe checking in. I know for some of us here to do that, it's new. We feel like, we should always be looking after others. And we should, but we've got to start from within. And the more we know about ourselves, the better we can set ourselves up to maybe avoid some of these situations or minimize the impact they have on us, or help us bounce back from them faster. And all those things will help us, again, take better care of those around us. But it all starts from within. So check in. Let me know if you discovered things about yourself on your check-in. If you maybe were able to find a new way to grieve and process and work through this. And then what are you going to channel your energy on? Our second cue was channel. Let's take some of our frustrations and anxiety and channel it into our goals, into our hobbies, whatever the case is. What are you going to channel that energy into? I'd love to hear from you. And then I want to hear a big charge from you. So hit the caps and give me a big charge in the comments and remind me and you and all of us, what are you going to charge towards? What's your goal? What do you want to accomplish? Where are you going to put your energy in these next few weeks to get us through this and to maybe help those around us? And what are you going to do to, well, add a caveat to that, recharge yourself? Because this is going to take a lot of energy. It's going to fatigue us mentally, physically, to give this much kindness and positivity and energy, because people around us are really going to need it in addition to ourselves. So as you charge forward, be sure to recharge as well, so that you have the energy, you have the patience, you have the mindset where it needs to be to help us move forward. So maybe some of your recharge ideas as well in the chat. I'd love to hear from you again. It helps me know where we're at as a group, and it helps us not just make the team, but make the team better. Something that you maybe are doing could give someone else an idea. Maybe my 3 ways, my check, channel, charge, recharge, maybe that doesn't work for you, but maybe it's giving you a little bit of an insight or a little spark to say, you know what, here's what I need to do to get through this. And maybe you've been spinning your wheels lately, not sure what to do, or maybe you haven't even thought of it because of the weight and the magnitude of what's going on. Again, we keep, going through these peaks and valleys. So again, sharing here in the comments is another way to help each other. If nothing else, maybe spark an idea or a little inspiration for someone as they're working through this. And I know some of you already have. We've created communities from here. I see you guys talking to each other on Facebook and commenting on pictures and sharing experiences and stories and giving each other kind of virtual high fives for a good job done. I see those comments going on. We've created a wonderful community, the positivity pandemic community. It's spreading through our community. Now let's spread it outside that community even more than we already are. But again, that starts here in our comments. We have 3 different platforms watching live. We have 5 or 6 all together when I do replays and post it, we can have a really large community here helping and supporting each other. So let's use that to our advantage. Let's help each other and take from it when we need to as well. Let's check our comments here to finish up, and we'll get you on your way. Yes, snap that band. That's right, Gretchen. I got one in my water bottle too, just in case. And that's, for those that don't know, it's Todd Durkin. It's kind of his cue, his little thought of, if you have a negative thought or emotion, snap the band. That little ping kind of shakes you out of it. It's that reminder to sort of, as he says, get your mind right, to get yourself going. It's that cue. It's almost like pinching yourself, or you flick someone. It's that little stimulus, that cue to sort of make you feel better. Think of things like that can maybe trigger you to help you have a better day, to be in a good mood. Maybe it's alerts or little alarms on your phone to say you can do this. We all talked about our theme words for 2022. Where's your theme word? Is it up where you can see it, especially right now? Put it somewhere where you can see it. Set it to go off a few times during the day, so it reminds you and keeps you into that progress again, so you can charge into that goal. Gretchen says, I found in the last month, with all I had going on, showing up for myself helped me get through it, for sure. And that's the big thing. We need to show up for ourselves. And if we show up for ourselves, we can show up for those that need us even more, even better, even from a better place, because we've taken such good care of ourselves. So important. We're the first to be neglected because we need to help everybody else. But if we can help ourselves, we can help those other people even more so. And even more people can be helped, because, again, we'll be in a better place. Sorry for the earthquake. Commuter understand here. Thank you so much, Bonnie. I'm glad you're here. I felt it needed to be said. I've been thinking about this since I know the Ontario restrictions came in. And again, I know in Quebec, you guys are back under curfew and different things going on. So I try to toe that line of not getting political or anything here. And I just want to give information so you can make your kind of choices that are best for you. That's ultimately what I want. That's being operationally fit as well. But I just felt it needed to be said. And I was, again, feeling how you're feeling and seeing other people comment and chat about how it's so frustrating. And I just felt it needed to be said in a way that we can, again, flip this around and make the most, make lemonade out of lemons, as they like to say. But I appreciate that, Bonnie. Thank you for the feedback. Gretchen's goals, awesome, are to get healthy enough that I can be medicine free. Awesome. And get to my goal weight with sticking to my routine and nutrition. That's awesome, Gretchen. Great stuff. And I'm not sure, I don't think there's as heavy restrictions and things right now in the US. I know here in Ontario and other provinces, we're under more COVID restrictions. So gyms have closed here in Ontario, and small businesses, restaurants, and things like that have been closed again. So some of us that have goals have to retweak and readjust. But I know for you, I know you have some things that you're dealing with. And those are your obstacles. Maybe the pandemic isn't your big roadblock right now, but I know you have other things you're trying to deal with and overcome. So again, this check, channel, charge can apply for that as well. So use those to your advantage, or a system, again, that works for you. So again, so great seeing your progress, Gretchen, and how you're doing. And seeing your post every morning after your workouts in our book launch group. It's been so great to see you and your consistency, and you can see the difference in you, and you're consistent and you're there, just like everybody else. It's been so much fun to see your evolution and your progress that you all have made in the past 2 years since we've started this. It's so amazing to see. It's so inspirational for me. It's where I get my energy to do this, to give it back to you guys. Again, we make the team better. We don't just make the team. So I'm sort of the coach of the team and the face of the team being here live, but we all help each other. And just as much as you hopefully get something from this, I get so much from your comments and from you being here and from your post outside of this that I see so often. Gretchen says, I'm still trying to figure out my word. Two have come to mind: fearless and discipline. Awesome. Great stuff. And you know what, Gretchen, if you can't pick one, maybe the two of them work. Maybe there's some way you can combine them into some fearless discipline. So you're not going to step back, and you're not going to hesitate. You're going to be disciplined and always moving forward towards your goals, whatever that you mentioned there, to get healthy so you don't need your medicine, and to find your weight. Maybe you have fearless discipline, that you don't self-talk negative self-talk your way out of something, or put off a workout, or make maybe a not as good choice when you're having some food or some snacks, maybe you can combine them and make it a bit of a mantra or a phrase. Some people have a bit of a phrase for their theme. It doesn't just have to be a word. We think word because it's quick and we can see it, but yeah, maybe it's a couple of words together or a phrase that'll help you. I think fearless discipline works really well together, because you always want to be disciplined and consistent as much as we can. And those fears are usually what kind of stop us. That negative self-talk. What are they going to think? Should I do this? I don't know if I can do this. I've had trouble before. And those fears take us off track. So I think fearless discipline, Gretchen, I think that's going to be a moneymaker for you for 2022. I think that's a t-shirt myself. But again, whatever's going to work for you. But yeah, 2 words, a little phrase, a mantra, something like this. If it's good for you. Again, we used a mantra before from Todd, Train to Win. When Todd released the book, I talked about Train to Win and what I thought that meant. And some of you took it and revamped it to make it your own thing. You changed the wording, you changed the definition. That's awesome. Make it work for you. So I think that's good, Gretchen. I think fearless discipline works well. And that's a good idea, having 2 words. Yeah, awesome. Glad you're here. See, get to give you a little something, a little bang for your buck as you're here. So I want to let you go. I want to again, I'm trying to keep these to 30 to 45 minutes or so if I can, just to not take up too much of your time, and hopefully maybe entice some others in, and just to get the points out. But I don't want to take away from the interactions that we have here. So again, thanks for being here. I want to wrap up, but remember, check yourself before you wreck yourself, as Ice Cube would say. Check in with yourself. How are you doing? What do you need to do to get through this? How do you need to process it? Channel that energy. Grieve, deal with it, and then take that energy and channel it into your goals, your hobbies, things that help you kind of work through this. So you're not anxious and sad and depressed and frustrated, but you feel good. We build that positive side of that momentum. And charge into 2022 like we started back in October. Knock it on its tail and show everyone how you can make the most out of this time and still improve yourself and still be the best version of you possible, even though people want to throw all these roadblocks and things in our way. And again, bonus, I challenge you to work through those and spread that positivity pandemic throughout your communities, throughout your tribes, your networks, your working, your colleagues, your environments, your world, your universe, whatever it is. Keep spreading that positivity pandemic, because we need that more than ever right now. And again, make sure you recharge yourself so you can do those things and keep performing at that optimal level. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Again, I really appreciate your support and your consistency and your willingness to show up every week to improve yourself and get a little bit better. And that makes us all a little bit better. I get so excited seeing your comments and your posts about your vision boards and your planning you've been doing for 2022. I can't wait to see everyone make 2022 an amazing year for you. So stay safe, everyone. Remember, stay hydrated, get lots of sleep, eat as best you can, get some movement and or exercise in as often as you can. Do the things you need to do to ramp up that self-care, keep that immune system high, manage that stress, get your sleep. And remember, always make yourself the priority that you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Stay safe, everyone, and have a great night.